Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about personal balance sheet, and we are going to be answering what it is, why is it important, and how you can use it for financial planning. To start, we need to know what is a balance sheet. A balance sheet is basically a snapshot of your assets, liabilities, and net worth at one particular point in time. It shows you how much you have versus how much you owe, and what is left if you net off the two. So why is a personal balance sheet important to you? It is important to you because you can take a look at your current financial situation and to help you make better financial decisions. So how do you create your personal balance sheet and how do you use it? Before we start on how you can use it, let's just talk about the components of your personal balance sheet. Let us first start with the assets. So for the assets component, it can be broken down into three parts. The first one is cash and cash equivalent. These are your assets that can be converted into cash very quickly. The second part is your personal use assets. These are the assets that you use on a day-to-day basis, like the house that you are staying in or the car that you are driving. The third part is your investment assets. These are the assets that you invest to help you grow your money. Now that we've talked about the assets, let us move to the liability portion. And liabilities can be broken down into two sections. The short-term liabilities, which is less than 12 months, and these are things like your credit card bills. And the second one is the long-term liabilities, which is more than 12 months. These are things like your mortgage payment or your car loan. And the last part is your net worth, which is your assets minus your liabilities, meaning that this is what is left after you take what you have minus what you owe. So now that we know the components of your personal balance sheet, let me give you an example on how you can use it. So I'll use John's personal balance sheet as an example. Over here, he has $20,000 in cash equivalent, $580,000 in personal use asset, which comprise of his HDB and his personal use car. And in his investment asset, he has $50,000 in unit trust. As for his liabilities, at this point in time, he has $5,000 in credit card bill, and for his long-term liabilities, he has a mortgage of $350,000 and a car loan of $40,000, which makes his total liabilities $395,000. So if you take all of his assets and minus off all of his liabilities, then you will be able to calculate his net worth, which is $255,000. And now that we have all these informations, what does it even mean? This is where I'm going to introduce some of the financial ratios that you can use to calculate whether or not this is a healthy balance sheet. So the first financial ratio that we are looking at is the liquid asset to net worth ratio. And this can be calculated by using your cash and cash equivalent divided by your total net worth. So in John's example, we will take $20,000 of his cash and cash equivalent and divided by his net worth of $255,000. It is recommended that you have at least 15% of your cash and cash equivalent to meet your short-term financial needs. So in this example, we can see that John only has 8%. So one way to fix this is for John to save up more money and put it in his cash and cash equivalent. The next ratio we're going to be talking about is the solvency ratio. And you can calculate this by using your net worth and dividing it by your total assets. And the recommended ratio for this is at least 50%. So if we look at John's example, he has a net worth of $255,000 and a total asset of $655,000. So his solvency ratio is 39%, which is below the recommended 50%. So we can see that this is an unhealthy ratio. The third financial ratio is your debt ratio, and this can be calculated by taking your total liabilities and dividing it by your total asset. And the recommended percentage for this is less than 50%. This ratio tells you if you're over leveraged or not. So for John's example, we can take his total liabilities of $395,000 divided by the total asset of $650,000. That will give us 61%, which means that John is slightly over leveraged. And the last financial ratio is your net investment asset to net worth asset. This can be calculated by taking your total investment assets and dividing it by your net worth. And the recommended ratio is to have at least 50% of your invested assets to your net worth. So for John's example, he has $50,000 invested in unit trust and his net worth is $255,000. So if we divide them, we'll find that it is only 20%, meaning that John has only invested 20% of his total net worth, which he can consider adding more into his investment assets. Alright, we're almost at the end of our video. Let us just do a quick recap. Firstly, a personal balance sheet is a snapshot of your assets, liabilities, and net worth at a point in time. Secondly, it is important for you to take a look at it because it shows you your financial health at that point of time. And thirdly, the components of your personal balance sheet are cash and cash equivalent, your personal use asset, your invested assets, as well as your short-term and long-term liabilities, and also your net worth. And lastly, the four financial ratios are your liquid asset to net worth, your solvency ratio, your debt to asset ratio, and your investment assets to net worth ratio. Alright, thank you very much for watching to the end. I hope you've learned something new today. Do give me a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe if you like the content. And if you have any questions, do leave them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them if I can. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.